Okay. So when we last left off in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap in part one, we left off with Diana and Garcelle going at it. I'm so glad she only lasted like one segment on the show. Like we saw in the end of the part one segment, and we saw in the beginning of the part two segment. Up until they went on commercial break, then they took her ass and got her off. Which I already know at this point, she's a one season hoe. Like I said in my show last week. The fact of the matter, these women sat up here and said that calling somebody the C word, calling somebody evil is worse than the C word. I had to give y'all the side eye with that. I'm like, okay, so what does Diana have on y'all that you'll automatically, Lisa Rinna, Erica, all of them are siding with Diana? Because Diana tried to play the victim. It's like Karen, the tears ain't gonna work. Where she's trying to say that Sutton calling her, or Garcelle calling her evil because she said the way she was treating Sutton was evil, and it was. That calling somebody evil is worse than calling somebody to see you next Tuesday. I could have sworn that calling somebody to see you next Tuesday was fighting words from where I come from and from the many women that I've spoken to. So we already knew y'all were trying to do that whole play in my face type crap. The thing that rubbed me the wrong way, I was like, okay, now Miss Karen is trying to wave around her damn privilege and her coins when she went and said that her privilege is that she has the money and she can afford lawyers to look into the whole bot situation. Because remember, there's a story that came out about Garcelle's son, Jax, who's 14 years old, who was sent nudes from his mother, her Playboy spread, and was sent a lot of racist tweets. So Diana somehow, oh yeah, I'm using my money and my lawyers and this, that, and the other. They're gonna find out who's been sending the bots and this, that, and the other. And Garcelle's like, I have my own investigation going, and we're gonna find out who is sending out those bots. One of the things I did like was that Garcelle did talk about her encounter with Bill Cosby. Now she mentioned on the show because they were talking about Garcelle's book. And we definitely gonna get into that because that book is the reason why I think a lot of people are pissed off at Andy Cohen, a lot of people on the show for their comments and or reaction on the reunion. Andy Cohen's another one I think lacks in the whole social cue and reading the room type shit too. I heard she's a Gemini, so it makes sense. So Garcelle told about her encounter with Bill Cosby in her new book, and she basically said that what had happened was she had appeared on the Cosby Show. She was about, I think, 18 or 19. Bill Cosby had spoken to her agents or whatever to have her come out to his, I think his beach house or something or another, to have them, I guess, read lines and this, that, and a third. Or I think they said it was a hotel room. She met up with him. He made her a drink. She said something tasted funny in the drink and realized what was going on and got up out of there as fast as she could. It was great that she got to tell that story. It irritated me that Lisa Rinna had to try to take over the situation and was like, oh my God, look, I got chills, I got goosebumps. Oh my God, what's happening? I can't believe she's going through such a thing. Like, it's very much like I'm watching her act as Billy Reed on Days of Our Lives. Like, it's like, girl, relax. What are you doing? It's not about you. Garcelle is having her moment. She's telling her story. And here you go trying to put on this, daytime soap opera melodramatic performance. So that bothered me. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but that irked me. I was like, lips, be quiet. So then there was a situation where Garcelle unfollowed Erica on Instagram because I think it was the whole, oh yeah. So before we get to this whole situation with why Garcelle's book was thrown in the trash, who actually threw it in the trash, and all that other shit that transpired, let's get to this funny Real Housewives of Beverly Hills clip that I want to play for y'all, and then we'll come back. And then I got to read this tweet about where Lisa Rinna went a little too damn far, which alludes to something that Andy Cohen brought up in this reunion. So we're going to roll that, and then we'll come back with more.
with everybody. What you did to my sister, and you drove Lisa Vanderpump off the show. I mean, the list can go on and on.
Well, then talk about Erica.
I can just say, when all of this was going down, Kyle said to me, I'm glad that people are seeing this so they
By the way, that was between us, by the way, Erica. Thanks.
I'm drinking something. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm ready. Yeah.
Because it's about, come on.
Let's do it.
Go.
Let's go.
Okay, but is that to make Erica look bad, or is that out of genuine concern? It doesn't have to make you look bad. You can do that on your own.
Saying that she just got booed on stage.
Well, that's unfortunate. No, I don't. I mean, she is a bully. She's bullied everybody, and I think that is just the worst.
To get booed on stage, public humiliation.
That I don't like to see happen to anyone.
How did you prepare for the Beverly Hills reunion?
I was like so excited. I could not wait.
Really?
I couldn't wait. All the other girls, you know, most of them were like, oh, I'm nervous. I don't want to do this, whatever. They dread it. I couldn't wait.
She couldn't wait any. So, yeah, that was that clip. So Garcelle unfollowed Erica on Instagram, and it was from that clip that you saw where everybody blew, you know, up in applause. But she was just like, I don't have to make you look bad. You can do that on your own. Bitch, that was legendary. They all gagged. Because to me, it was like, when you open your mouth, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that to her. Like, who the fuck is she? Who is she? Who is she? Okay, let me stop getting on that stupid RuPaul who is she song. But it's like, yeah, who's Erica Jane that I can't come back at her? Like, you gonna say some shit to me and I can't clap back? Like, where they do that at? Anyone said that I couldn't clap back at somebody? Like, if you gonna say some shit to me, I'm reading your ass back. That's just the way it works. So so after that, I think what happened was Garcelle had basically unfollowed Erica because they were kind of beefing at the time when they were shooting the show. And Garcelle basically used that clip that you saw as a way for to promote, you know, for her book. And I guess Erica took that some kind of way and basically went and posted in her stories like, oh, I know you can't read this because you have me blocked, but showed a picture of Garcelle's book in the garbage. I was like, okay, whatever, tit for tat, little shade here, there, whatever. Come to find out, Lisa Rinna's the one that actually threw the book away and admitted it on camera. Now, the reason why Lisa said she did it is because she said that she and Garcelle had a handshake agreement that kids were off limits, because there's apparently an excerpt in the book where Garcelle was recapping an incident that happened on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where she basically brought up her daughter, Lisa's daughter, with the anorexia, which was talked about on the show. So she was like, well, with you dancing around in your underwear, what was it? Because I think I wrote the actual quote down. She said, Garcelle included an excerpt in the book where she asked Rinna if dancing in her underwear on social media had an effect on her daughter. Amelia struggles with food. So apparently Lisa had a problem with that, which I didn't think it was that bad of a thing because it's something we all saw on the show, and she was recapping and talking about her experience. And that was when Lisa said they had a handshake agreement that kids was off limits. But apparently she must have really forgot about this situation, kids being off limits, because what I found funny was that Lisa's lack of impulse control. And when Andy and I said this was going to happen, and I remember Lindsay and I had a conversation. I think it was on Drinks and Drag. Well, no, it wasn't Drinks and Drag. I think it was Beat Face. I think it was a Beat Face show, or we were having this conversation over the phone. But I believe we've had. He was basically saying, "Do you think that we're gonna get the same Andy as we did last season? Is he gonna really go and really press these women, because there was so much stuff, more so than ever, happening on this show? Is he gonna really press them?" I was like, no, he's not gonna get what needs to be given. It's gonna be the same, throw softball, gonna get him, smack him with a soft glove and not really go in. He'll go harder on certain women and won't and kind of just give little soft blows to other women. He could have won a lot, and I'm gonna watch and see if he does, but I doubt it. He better go hard on Erica Jane next week, especially about those damn earrings that she got sued for and talking about that she's in litigation trying to get them shits back. If the earrings was bought by your husband with the money that he stole from them people, why are you fighting to get back earrings? Which makes me think like there's some guilt there or something. She's got a good lawyer that's helping her get through with some loopholes and shit. So Lisa goes, and we got to bring this tweet up, child, because I sent it to production before we started the show. So she decided to get back at Kathy Hilton, because y'all saw the big clip where she goes in on Lisa in next week's episode because she shows up in part 3. I hate the fact that they use that as the realest end, and we have to wait till the 3rd episode to see Kathy Hilton show up. But I see what y'all doing over there. So he wrote this tweet of from Woke Stan, who posted, "Kathy to Lisa, you're the biggest bully in Hollywood. Me to Kathy, you're the mother that had her daughter kidnapped in the middle of the night, which led to her being abused, the R word, and you never apologized to her when she confronted you about it. Hashtag RHOBH. This is something that Lisa Rinna posted on her social media. And there was this thing that was said on the show, but it was like, oh, the fans say she should be demoted. Lisa was like, demote me? I don't care. That was her answer. So Andy and Bravo, are y'all listening? Because Lisa act like she could just do whatever she want and it's okay because y'all have allowed it. So with her saying, I'm like, that's going too far. The fans are saying at this point, the show has become uncomfortable to watch. It's not even about like being entertained, because Andy was trying to say that. Oh, it's entertaining and so on and so forth. I'm like, no, it's not. It's uncomfortable. And the part that made me really pissed off was when the camera, and you know what, camera people are shady, because what Andy Cohen's soft ass won't ask, the camera pretty much says it all, and they will zoom in on some shit. So after we find out about Lisa Rinna and throwing the book and all that other stuff, and the worst part, we found out that they have a separate group chat that certain women have and certain women aren't a part of, and I can guarantee who's in it. Erica, Kyle, Lisa, Dorit, and probably Diana, but she's about to be a one-season host, so they probably going to have to take her out. But those are the core 4 that I believe are in it. I don't believe Crystal is in it. Garcelle definitely ain't in it, and Sutton's not in it. Which makes me wonder, what has y'all got in there that y'all saying about these other women that, in my opinion, is suspect? I need some hackers, from like Russia or somewhere to go and get up in one of them bitches' phones and leak the tea, because I need to know what they talking about up in there. So they revealed this on the show. Why didn't Andy follow up on that? Why didn't he follow up on that? Why didn't he follow up on the whole, throwing the book in the trash? He decides to make jokes about recycling. And he's giggling and kikiing over there with Erica and Lisa like it's nothing. Mind you, you look at Garcelle's face and she literally looked like she's about to well up in tears, but she's trying to hold it together. Because I think Garcelle is being smart, and I know a lot of people was like, I really want her to go in and let have. And then there's some people like, I love that she kept her composure. I'm glad that she's poised. But I think because Garcelle's looking at the long game, which is, I'm not thinking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills being the show that I'm going to be doing for 15 years, and then Andy Cohen one day, because you step out of line, he wants to fire you, and then you end up in a Nene Leakes situation. I mean, Fancy from the Jamie Foxx show been working forever, so I do feel like she'll bounce back. I hope she comes back I think she'll be back for another season. But the way these women are acting on the show, and do I think that the ladies are racist? Because that's kind of been the overall assessment. I don't, but I do feel like that these white women, when y'all come on these shows, especially when I'm sure y'all heard the tea about Ramona Singer and the drama she was saying with that. MDK Williams said she got countless receipts. I gotta write that article. That's the next one I'm working on. So be on the lookout for that. So even bringing New York into this conversation, I feel like the women need to realize, okay, you're so used to being in this little circle of white women. Certain things you say, you have to realize can be seen as a microaggression. For example, when Kyle went and said and put out this thing about Garcelle, oh, you didn't send money to this charity that I was working with. You may not see that as, you may see it like you regularly talk about, oh, boy, I didn't hear you send the money to send the other, because, you know, so many people who don't understand microaggression or racism because they never experienced it, they won't see what you see. So that comes the point where I have to tell you, this is what this is. Sit back, understand, learn from the mistake, and do better. Because that is a microaggression. It comes across like, oh, black people ain't got money. Black people just skip out on bills and this, that, and the other. That is a stereotype. When I go out to restaurants and I go out with my friends, I tip lovely. Sometimes I over tip. Because you ain't going to talk shit about me. So it's that overcompensating because, you know, you're trying to break certain stereotypes. And I was like, yeah, there's ghetto people and this, that, and the third out there that do shit. We saw them twin fools not too long ago that was eating food that wasn't there. Somebody they're not gonna pay for it, and then because they was hungry. I'm sure y'all saw that story all over social media. So there's some people out there that act like buffoons, but for me, that is a microaggression. That is a racial stereotype. And Kyle may not have seen it because she's a little airhead. But sometimes you have to learn from that. And it's the same way that Crystal, in her opinion, when she was trying to articulate what was going on with her and Sutton, was trying to explain how she felt. In regards of Sutton saying something where she was like, oh, I went out and they were in the pool, like my daughter, who was this white girl, then she had a black friend and this Asian kid was there and this and the other. And Crystal was like, this sounds pretty much like a microaggression. Like it comes across a little racist. I think Crystal got carried away because she had no storyline and she needed a way to keep people interested in her by saying, oh, it was much darker and using the word dark. And it was like, okay, can we get off the word dark and just explain what it was? So I felt like in that scenario, Garcelle was able to explain Crystal's feelings because Crystal can figure out how to articulate her own word. But in a minute or less, Garcelle was able to get it out there and explain it with that microaggression and saying, this is how I felt. Kyle's stupid ass decides to jump in and was like, trying to keep going at Crystal and badgering her and bullying her and was like, no, but you said this. It's like, but I'm trying to explain to you, you're not understanding. And at this point, I realize you never will. And sometimes that's how you shut a hoe down, because how stupid. So it'll be interesting to see how this all works out next week. I want to know what Bravo, you give me a little disclaimer on the show. It's about we don't condone all this other stuff, but you're allowing certain Karens on the show to get away with the bullying and saying certain nasty, disgusting, mean things. I heard Paris didn't even want her mother on the show. And regardless of how Kathy and Paris felt in regards of, or that whole dynamic of Paris and what she experienced in school and recently how she was trying to get a bill passed where kids aren't being abused in boarding schools or private schools instead of by adults and teachers and things of that nature, or whoever abused her. I don't know the story. I've heard the story, but I haven't partaken in it enough to have all the information in front of me. That's between the parent and the child. That is not a place for Elisa Renna, who's being petty and is mad because A, she got booed at the BravoCon. She lied all over TV and was telling y'all that she loves it. Was like being like a wrestler. From what I heard, Erica Jane was like, girl, you better embrace yourself because you know they're going to be booing your ass when you get out there. And lo and behold, they booed her. And she gagged. Lisa is full of shit. She does not want to sit up in here and be abused like that. She don't want that kind of, rapport from the public. The public has turned. They do not like her. Do not like Lisa Rinna. Bravo and Andy Cohen. Y'all looking at this as ratings, numbers. We got the highest rated show on Bravo, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's all they see. That's all they care about. But when the public turns on you, that's it. It ain't about ratings. It's not about what, numbers and algorithms and all y'all give a shit about over in these major networks. The fans don't care about that. Y'all want them entertaining. Yeah, they was all at Bravo because, the one thing I have to give it up to Andy is that he has tapped into a market that is overlooked by a lot of people. And women as a demographic, there's not a lot of programs that cater to them. So they have, the Housewives and all that stuff. And now they have a convention, which I heard was a mess. Teresa and all that drama going over there in Jersey. Erica trying to create a storyline between her and Dorit by saying that Dorit and PK gonna be divorced. The next one's to get a divorce. I didn't believe that. I felt like y'all were just trying to fetch to create a moment. That'll be half an episode of next season. What y'all talking about that? I already told you on my last episode, one wanted to come back, one wanted to go, one wanted to be demoted. I'm not gonna go through that again. Y'all can watch that episode or some on the YouTube. But for the most part, I would say, Andy Cohen, you are in a disappointment in regards of doing these reunions. I feel like it is time, so I can wrap this up and move on to this big story, because it's a lot. Andy Cohen, I think it's time that you step aside, become an executive producer, behind the scenes, stop trying to be on camera. Nobody cares about Watch What Happens Live. Nobody's watching Watch What Happens Live. But I feel like out of obligation of who you are and what you have with all these housewives shows, Bravo's just entertaining your ass and just letting you have this horrible ass talk show still on the air. I think you do need to step behind because you are not a personality. I know you want to be, but you don't have the range. Similar to Jason Lee, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. Another one who needs to stay behind the scenes. Y'all are good. You're a good businessman. You're not a good on-camera man. You're annoying. He's like Billy Eichner. Someone with lack of impulse control, just loud, annoying, irritating for no reason, just because. But I feel like it's time to bring someone and do these reunions who could be neutral. And I'm a fan, but I gotta call you out when you do your shit. And I'm not gonna sit up in here and let you make little excuses. I need you to, as Lisa Rinna said, and didn't do any of it, own it. You need to own what you do. You need to own the things you say. So yeah, we got part 3 coming next week, and that's when the big showdown between Lisa and Kathy is gonna happen. And we'll see where, and hopefully we'll find out where Kathy stands with her sister Kyle. But speaking of Kathy, she did say that she would not return for the upcoming 13th season if 2 out of the 5 problematic bitches of Beverly Hills, Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane, returned. Now, according to page 6, she said, I had said that I would only be willing to come back if the cast changed. Hilton 63 told TMZ in an interview published on Friday. Now, it was completely, if it's completely the same, absolutely not, because I feel there are 2 bullies that intimidate a lot of the other girls. The reality star who joined Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in 2021 as a friend of the cast pointed out that a couple of the women on the show, likely referring to fan favorites Garcelle Bouvet and Sutton Strack, speak up against Rinna, 59, and Erica Jane, who's 50. She's 51. Why she's a little older than that? Not even bow ties can make you look younger, sweetie. But most of them, they're not being their authentic self when they're pushed up to the wall, and they're afraid of what those 2 bullies will do because they're capable of anything. Earlier this season, Rinna compared Hilton to the devil after a meltdown in Aspen. So we're going to find out whatever this psychotic break and all this other crap is next week. But you want to know something? I totally agree with Kathy. I do believe that these 2 are bullies. And I do believe that people are scared of them. I do believe like Kyle finally decided to stand up to them in the finale, but in my opinion, it was too little too late. And then Erica Jane and Lisa, you know, with them, it does feel, I don't know how y'all scared of these women. Why? Because they're loud and abrasive. Usually those are dogs that are all bark and no bite. And that's what she gives me. Neither one of them have the coin where they can actually shut you down and destroy you. The one that I would be more scared of would be Diana, because Diana is manipulative and is capable of anything and would use her money for evil. Whereas we've seen Kathy, based off of what we've seen and what we've been paying attention to, use her powers for good. In a lot of ways, by going after Lisa Rinna. So with her saying this, she better watch her back, because, you know, like I said, Kathy Hilton's old Hollywood. And her money's long. Lisa Rinna lives paycheck to paycheck, as in she's only getting coins from, you know, being an actress. I don't know anybody that's buying her makeup and all that other stuff. If y'all out here buying Rinna Beauty, let me know, because I haven't heard nobody out here buying, or Erica Jane's over expensive hair pieces, which I remember we had a conversation on this show, well, it was actually Drinks and Drag, where Lindsay was talking about how she was doing the hair pieces and the clip-ins and this, that, and the other. First of all, she didn't even have the stuff on the hair where you can clip it in your head. You have to pretty much do it yourself. Number one, I'm not spending $700 on human hair, if that's what that is, or she won't call it, only to have to do all the work and have some professional or I would have to do it myself, put it in my own head. Like, I guess she didn't think about the bigger picture, because Erica pretty much has a glam squad. I don't know how, when everything that happened with the ex-husband, she still got a glam squad. Oh, she could at least afford one. That's the gag for me.